guys, welcome to the playlist of version control using Git. I hope you've watched the earlier videos of this playlist. In this video, we are going to talk about code reviews. Let's have a quick look at the agenda first. We are going to cover what code reviews are and then we'll move towards the code review workflow. The next video will also be about code reviews and its implementation part, which means how to use the code reviews in GitHub. What are code reviews? As the name suggests, code reviews or reviewing a code simply means going through someone else's code, documentation or configuration and checking that it all makes sense and follows the expected patterns. Now, saying it in a different way, it means that reviewing a code simply means that a different set of eyes has checked our code. GitHub and other repository hosting services offer tools for code reviews on their platform. And while the name suggests code reviews, we can actually use the same tool and the process of reviews for not only code but any text file, including configuration and documentations. Now, these code reviews accomplish a certain set of goals. These include improving the project and making sure that the changes that are done are high quality. They make sure that the content is easy to understand and that the style is consistent in the overall project. They also make sure that any important cases aren't forgotten. So this helps us to understand that code reviews help in improving the quality of our code. It also makes sure that the number of bugs in our project are less. Now this doesn't mean no bugs, but it means that the obvious bugs can get caught using code reviews. Let us move towards an example. When we work in the same office as our teammates, we can do reviews in person by looking at the changes together and discussing how the contents fit. But when that person that we're working with is in a different office or time zone, we are better off using a code review tool. Code review tools lets us comment on someone else's code. These let us leave a feedback on how they can make the code better. Now, some of the common code issues are unclear names that make the code hard to understand, forgetting to add a test, and forgetting to handle a specific condition. If we're writing a documentation, a reviewer can help us catch typos and things that aren't totally clear. Now, today, some of the open source projects and a lot of companies require code reviews for everybody. Now, this isn't because they don't trust them, this is just because to make the code better and make it high quality. One thing here is to remember that code reviews are not about anyone being a bad or a good coder, they're just about making the code better. Code reviews are usually sending us back to the drawing board for small errors and nitpicks. Now, after the generation of code and completion of solving a problem, what we do is submit the code. But no, code reviews send us back for small errors, and that is actually a good thing. Because these code reviews help point out things that we might have missed along the way and they ensure that our code makes sense to others. Let us now look at a code review workflow and we'll check out a typical code review using a reviewing tool. Imagine that we've just finished a bunch of code changes. Now we'll ask a reviewer to look at our code. The reviewer might say that everything is okay and our changes are approved, but usually they'll find something that needs improving. So they'll add comments to our changes explaining what needs to be fixed and how. When we get the review comments, we'll address them by fixing typos, adding any missing tests, and so on. After addressing a comment, we can mark it as resolved so that we know it's been taken care of. If there's something that we aren't sure how to do or we think a different approach might be better, we can reply to the comment and ask our reviewer for more information without marking the comment as resolved. Once the comments have been resolved and our review is satisfied with the result, then they'll be able to merge it. So let us look at comments and how they should be addressed. There's a wide range of things your reviewer might have to say about your code. Some of the comments can be, sometimes you might have forgotten to take into account something important and then you'll need significant amount of work to fix it. Sometimes your reviewer might point out something small that's not really critical and the comment is mostly a suggestion for making the code better. These comments are usually prefixed saying that it's a nit. Whatever it is, it's important that you take the time to understand the comment and then what you need to do is address it. Now, For example, if you return a piece of code and your reviewer asks you to explain why or how the code is doing something. Now, here it might be tempting for you to make a comment and mark it as resolved. But this isn't a great idea because only the reviewer gets to see your answer. Instead, it's always better to take this as an opportunity to make the code clearer. For example, you can do this by using better variable names or splitting large pieces of code into smaller functions. On top of that, you can add comments to your code and documentation to your functions to make sure that how and why are clearly explained. It's common for code reviews to include several comments about the style of the code. So, to avoid a lot of back and forth, it's a good idea to refer to a style guide that explains a preferred coding style for the project. Now, the goal of this whole thing in the code reviews is to ensure that your code has been reviewed by people who are familiar with the project so that it's ready to be submitted. So, after all this, can you think of a project that you've worked on in the past where your code reviews could have been helpful? Maybe you have worked as a part of a team and had trouble making sure that everyone agreed on how things should be done. And I guess that's where code reviews come in. No matter how simple or complex a project is, it can always be improved with good code reviews. Up next, we'll dive into how this code reviewing process works on GitHub. Thank you for watching this video.